Hello, everyone. Welcome in, and thanks for giving us the next 60 minutes or so. My name is Gent Mehmeti, AI evangelist at LEORON Institute, and together today we have gathered some of the brightest enterprise minds leading transforming processes across the Gulf. We're still waiting for everybody to join, but soon enough we'll have a pretty good group. Quick heads up on the big promise of the session. So we have already announced it. We have announced what this is, but let's see what this is not, team. It's not a tool demo today. It's not another AI is changing everything awareness deck. You've sat through enough of those probably, and frankly, so have I. And it's not a traditional capability matrix exercise either. We'll leave workforce competency mapping and proficiency frameworks to HRs and L&D teams. That's what they do best. This is much more practical than that. This is about identifying where AI actually fits into real workflows. So teams like yours can create measurable values faster. Uh, what we are actually solving today is a very specific problem. How do you go from people having AI tools to people using AI inside the work that pays the bills? And that gap is where almost every AI program stalls nowadays. Uh, Now, a lot of teams have already crossed the access line. Someone bought the license, someone ran the first workshop, someone built the prompt library, and then nothing much changed after that. Nothing changed in how work actually moves. So the reason is rarely the technology about this. And by the end of the session, we will understand why. The reason is that nobody answered the boring operational questions like which role, which workflow, what is AI actually there to do, which inputs, where does a human still own the call, etc., etc. Those are those key questions that need to be answered. So by the end of this hour, you'll have one tool that answers all those questions, aka the matrix, and we will build it together. So you will leave with something that you can put in front of a manager, let's say Monday. It's Thursday today, you can have it by Monday. Now, uh, guys, if this was just 1 year ago, the correct question to ask to break the ice would probably be who's already using AI tools in their business today. But today, that question feels outdated, and probably it would be a bit dumb from my side to ask you. I'm 100% sure that everybody is using in one form or another. So instead, the big question today is which function is furthest ahead with AI in your organization? Please, look, I'm going to create a small poll. Hit the poll in the chat. I'm eager to know where we stand as a group. I'll share some very interesting findings with you next, which may or may not surprise you. They sure surprised me. Let's check it out. The poll is in the chat, guys. If you could take a second to vote, let me see what your results say. Okay, we have sales and marketing. HR, IT. Okay, great. It's mostly the GTM, the go-to-market teams that are leading this. Sales and marketing are the first place. Now, let's see this. Let's check this out. Here it is, the results that I promised. Before we get to frameworks, by the way, let's look at what's actually happening out there across other enterprises, in the wild, not the type of hype that everybody's talking about, rather the real one. So this data that you see right here is from an enterprise study done in 2026, so this year, from a company named Stack AI. It's a very popular platform for deploying no-code AI. Some of you might be using it. And over a thousand participants across regulated industries took place in this study. So what I like about it is that it shows where AI is landing in live workflows right now across industries, not where people think it might land in 2027, right? Look at the top of the list over here. What do you see? You have document, Q&A, and knowledge search, the most common enterprise AI use case, almost 20%. Then you have email triage, report generation, invoice processing. Do you notice anything? None of this is glamorous. Nobody's writing a TED talk about invoice processing. But then, this is where the money is moving. And then same story on the department side. Finance leads with 28%. Let's see, how does this align, by the way, with the results we had? Sales and marketing, HR, information, finance is fourth. We voted finance fourth. But across the world, it's first. Okay? Then we have ops. Then legal, sales, and marketing combined are fourth here. That probably surprises some of you. It surprised me a lot the first time I saw it. Because let's face it, we would all be hoping to see at least we yeah, it would be natural this to be led by the developers, the engineers, all the teams that are probably more inclined toward tech, right? But now the pattern is very consistent. AI lands first where work is repetitive, okay? It's document heavy and commercially important. That's the lens we'll use for the rest of the session today. Now, here's what those numbers from the slide, from the study, they actually mean, what they are telling us. Every single use case on that leaderboard, it's already a job someone does today in one form or another. Nobody made up new work to put AI on top of it, okay? They picked existing rows of work where the inputs were known, the outputs were known, and someone could already tell you whether it was done well. Okay, that's why finance is leading in the study. Okay, big up to all the finance guys in the group, by the way, but not because it's the most innovative department. Okay, sorry guys. So because finance has the clearest processes and the easiest metrics. They know what goes in and then they know what comes out, and they can measure the value immediately. So sales and marketing, they sit at 16% combined, but not because AI, it's not because AI can't help there, okay? It clearly can. I'm a marketer myself. I've done some amazing things with AI. But because those workflows that we handle are harder to define. They're harder to define and harder to measure. So you see across everything we've seen, there are three traits that keep showing up. Okay, they're existing, defined, and repetitive. So existing, it means that the work, the activity, it was already on the calendar. Okay, somebody's already doing it. Defined, there's a system of record and a person who owns the output. And then repetitive over here, it means that it's the same shape, you know, that comes back every week, every month, every quarter. Now look at what isn't on the list or what wasn't on the list that we saw. There is no innovation labs. There is no hackathons. There's no pilots looking for a problem. There's no AI agents embedded into processes that don't need them. I mean, processes that could be solved with a simple AI automation instead. None of those make it into the value creation column because they aren't connected to a core workflow where AI can scale and compound results over time. So this is exactly the distinction between generic AI and AI for every role. Okay? Generic AI buys a tool and hopes someone will find a use. However, AI for every role, what we are talking about today, does the complete opposite. It starts from the job, then asks where AI fits inside it. Now, look at this table. Generic AI. It says, here's the tool, go explore. It's like the buffet model. Everyone gets a plate, but nobody ever gets full. But AI for every role is the opposite. It tells you exactly which role we are enabling. Okay? Look, which workflow we are touching, where the human still owns the decision. Okay? It's the same technology, more or less, but completely different operating answer. And now, the difference between these two is what determines whether AI shows up in your end of year profit and loss, or it remains in your slides that you pass to colleagues and teams and managements and all that. Okay? But the reason why generic AI is so contagious is because it's easy to deploy, okay? Everybody's doing it because it's easy to deploy. It always starts the same. Licenses get bought, a kickoff lands on the calendar, the first workshop happens, like usually it's a good one, and then people are energized. Here in Notion, like a fancy one, you know, leaders feel like something is moving, and then real life shows up, guys. The sales teams, they still have to hit their quota. Okay, marketing still has to ship the campaign by Friday, let's say, and the finance team, they still have month end to report. And unfortunately, now AI isn't part of any of their workflows. So it becomes optional, and optional always loses the urgent, okay? When something is urgent, the rest is ditched. The fix isn't another round of training. The fix is to design the workflow so AI is not optional in the first place. For example, let's see this. Uh, Monthly reporting. This is something that we can all identify with, right? Every team runs some version of this, okay? And it's usually the same 6 steps that you see here. You collect, clean, analyze, uh, draft the narrative, review the report, and then send it to whoever you are about to send it, whether it's that one of your colleagues or management or board. And then we spent half a day on the first 3 or 4 steps alone. Okay. I myself have spent even days doing this. I mean, has anyone not? Come on, let's be honest. It used to be a very lengthy process, but none of that really requires judgment. Okay, it just requires patience and a lot of copy pasting, which is exactly where AI belongs, guys. See how AI could improve this right here. Okay, AI could collect and clean the data automatically. Okay, so you don't do no any more manual formatting or copy pasting. Uh, AI could highlight what actually matters, like anomalies, drops, spikes, risks. You focus on decisions, not searching. And then over here, AI could draft the report narrative to refine the context and business judgment. And that's it, okay? Right off the start, AI has automated 3 or 4 crucial steps that take a lot of time. The workflow stays the same, but the time investment does not. And that's what real AI adoption looks like. Okay? AI embedded into the workflow, not sitting beside it. Uh, Look, if you're only going to remember one slide from today's presentation, make sure it's this one, not the metrics that we're going to fill together. You're going to inherit that as a file. I'm going to explain how to do it. Remember this one sentence: AI enablement is a business architecture issue. Okay, AI enablement is not primarily a training issue. Sure, you need to train your workforce first. Uh, that's unquestionable. But enablement itself is a business architecture issue. If you want to scale AI, you have to decide where it lives inside the operating model. So, not how good people are at using a tool. Because I've seen people who are super certified and super skilled at using an AI tool or an AI service. People who, given the task, could perform wonders, okay, and truly amaze you. However, if they don't have the strategic thinking and they don't know how to link it with the real workforce, it just remains a skill that's stacked on top of another skill and another skill. And then it's been waiting for somebody more strategic to kind of awaken it and give it some direction. Now, here is where most organizations make their first wrong turn. They reach for the familiar instrument, a capability matrix with function, role, current level, target level, gap, priority. That's the diagnostic view HR and L&D teams default to. That's HR work, okay? So before we build the matrix you will actually leave with today, let's look at what the traditional version really gives you. And then more importantly, let's see what it does not give you. Okay? See, a quick acknowledgement, by the way. If you've worked with HR or L&D teams, you've seen something that looks like this. It's a classic AI capability metrics, a capability metric. Have fun- have a fun. Sorry, no, you have a function. You have a role, ability area. Uh, you have where people are currently today, where they need to be, the gap, of course, and the priority. But it's diagnostic. Okay, it's tidy. It tells you where the workforce sits, and it's useful. But it's useful for hiring plans, for training budgets, for succession planning. But here's the catch: it doesn't tell you where AI actually fits inside the work. Okay, it rates people. It doesn't redesign workflows. So we together today, we acknowledge it, we respect it, and then we move on. What we are building next is the operational cousin, the one that names the workflow, the AI job, uh, the inputs, the human decision, the metric, and the first action. It's the same matrix DNA, but very different output. Okay? Here it is, the whole tool. As simple as this: one table that you could fill in over a coffee with a manager who actually owns the work. Okay? Very simple, very fast. Each row over here is one practical AI opportunity. Okay? And the discipline of fitting an idea into a row is the part that does most of the strategic work for you. Okay? To make AI stick, you answer the 7 questions from this matrix: which role, which workflow, what is the AI job, which inputs and systems, which human decision. Okay, we call this human in the loop in AI, which success metric, and what is the first action. 7 boring but useful questions. You get them right for one row, and then you have an AI opportunity ready to run. So repeat across functions, and you have an operating model. Now, here's the key idea here. Uh, when you do this, don't try to map AI across the whole business at once. Start small and be specific. Pick one real role, one workflow that repeats often, and then define exactly where AI helps in the process. So usually the biggest mistake that I see being made is going too broad, too theoretical, or trying to automate everything at once. Okay, uh, if you can if you can clearly explain all 7 rows in the matrix, you're probably looking at the workflow that's actually ready for AI adoption. So not just experimentation. Now let's make this practical, guys. Uh, I'll launch one poll again, and you can pick one role, and we'll build it together. Okay. Okay. Let's go over here. Here it is. I've just added a few uh, of the most common functions across every organization, just to make this easier for us. But while you vote over here in the chat, the poll is active, by the way, in the chat. Please provide your vote. While you do so, here, I'll go ahead and explain one example, so you can see what good actually looks like in this format. Okay. So you can see here, uh, row one, the marketing manager, and then the workflow is the weekly content performance review. That's what we want to optimize. The AI job in this case would be summarize what's working, like recommend the next tests. Okay, and then inputs. Inputs are going to be analytics dashboard, content calendar, campaign data, no, Google Analytics, HubSpot, Salesforce, Meta Ads, whatever that provides the data that you can link. And then in the human decision, we say that marketers still owes prioritization, claims, creative direction. The metrics would be faster reporting, of course, right? And probably more tests launched. And the first action, one weekly review. That's it. So do you notice over here what is not on the slide? You do not have models named, no tool stack, no we'll need an AI council to oversee this, just an operating clarity. That's what good looks like. Okay? Now it's our turn with the role that we picked. Let's see what we picked. Operations manager. Okay, let's go with the operations manager. Uh, uh, um, Give me a minute to. Okay. Mhm. Ah, here it is. All right. So, uh, what we are choosing here today is the operation manager, right? Operations manager. Now, uh, what could be a common workflow that an operation manager would be doing? Let's say weekly operations performance, I guess, review. Yeah, let's just put that. Weekly operations uh, performance review. Okay, now, uh, and what could AI do in this particular workflow? Well, it can actually do a lot. Okay, it could summarize KPIs. It could flag deviations, and I don't know. It can identify bottlenecks, I guess. And what are the inputs, the systems that you would be using? Uh, Dashboards, SLA reports, process logs. Uh, what's left for the human? Mm, 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 mm. RCA, root cause analysis, escalations, that's done by humans still. RCA, escalations, uh, resource decisions, I guess. And what is now the success metric? The success metrics for this is, because this is an ongoing weekly process, right? Weekly operations performance review. I assume the success metric would be time saved on weekly reporting prep. Okay, let's put that over here. Time saved on weekly reporting prep. And first action, well, first action, we want to pilot this on one weekly review meeting. That's it. Okay. We just built it together. It's done. It took us less than 5 minutes to build it. Once we know actually what the process, who the owners are, and what we want to do, it's as simple as that. We don't want to complicate it any further. Now, you will notice what good rows have in common when we filled it. In both of the example that I showed you about the marketing manager and the one about the operation one. The better the row gets, the less impressive it sounds, the less impressive it looks. The strong rows, they feel almost too basic. So weak rows are broad and slightly heroic. You know, they tend to overpromise. They read like the title of a McKinsey report. And they are also impossible to pilot, by the way, you know, because nobody knows what to actually build first. So guys, please go with strong and narrow, because boring and useful beats exciting and vague. Okay, always, every single time. What's left now? So I would suggest everybody just step on it, guys. You know, AI as it is, it's not waiting for you to get ready. Neither are your competitors. You know, there's a window still open, by the way, uh, to be first. But unfortunately, that window, it's not open indefinitely. It will soon be closed, and somebody will be in, somebody will remain out. So what do? 10 days to map your 3 priority roles, 20 days to run your first live pilot, and then 30 days to measure and decide. That's the whole program. 3 roles, 1 month, real outcomes on the table right here. Sorry. So, by the way, if you know where you want to go, but of course, need someone to build that road, that's what LEORON AI consulting team does. We come in, build every workflow with your team, run the first pilots, and hand over something that actually runs in your business. I'm part of the team, so you have my personal guarantee. 4 to 6 weeks, my email is on the screen. Now, thank you for your time, and let's go ahead with a couple of questions, please. I'll check out the chat. If you have a question, drop it over there. Once again, thank you so much for your time. Have a pleasant day.